We have a shocking Auston Matthews update to discuss today, as in a bit of a shocking turn of events. Brad Living has come out and revealed some very interesting details about Auston Matthews as he is traveling to Germany to see a specialist regarding his injury. We're going to break that down as well as discuss Living's comments regarding this issue because the situation keeps getting crazier and quite frankly, Darius, keeps getting more ridiculous. But before we get into it all, quick reminder, if you're a part of the 70 or so percent who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content, and make sure to hit that button. Dears, we had a video just a couple hours ago, and right after that, we got a bunch of news surrounding Auston Matthews and him heading to Germany to see a specialist to go over a bunch of different things. And this has Leafs fans very, I would say, cautiously nervous. I guess is the best word to put it. Again, we're just diving into it all. It's a bit ridiculous, quite frankly. But you can see this here. Brad Living says Auston Matthews went over to Germany to see a doctor that he has seen in the past. Says it's not alarming, but once they get through that, they will hope he returns to skating. Says he may play Sunday, but is also targeting the Florida trip at the end of the month. Won't say anything more than it's an upper body injury. There's a lot more to go into here. We have some other screenshots, but Darius, he says it's not alarming. I would beg to differ a little bit. I think that's a little bit alarming. He's heading to Germany for the injury that we thought he was going to return on Tuesday for. Tuesday being a week ago today was his scheduled return date. And now he's flying all the way to Germany to see a specialist. And there's a lot of different ways to take it here, but at the very least, it's not ideal.
Listen, it's a little bit concerning. When I first read that, I said, my ears kind of peaked up a little bit, and I was like, that's weird. Why is he going to Germany to see a specialist? That sounds incredibly concerning. But Friedman had some great insight to this as well. And I don't think that the Toronto Maple Leafs at this point have any incentive to lie. I think they've kept everything very hush hush for a long time already because he's been day to day for the last 3 weeks. And as of yesterday, I think fans were really starting to get upset. But the reaction to this, I think, is a little bit ridiculous as well. I don't think that they have any reason to lie in what they've been telling us. I feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs, and a lot of people will scoff at this, are telling the truth in this. I don't believe that he needs surgery. I believe that there was an opening in that office and he knows that doctor and he was able to get treatment and he's using his time off efficiently here. And obviously the Leafs have a very light schedule. So I feel like they're using that to their advantage. And he's able to go see this doctor in Germany and get, apparently Friedman, like I said before, Friedman had some great insight on this. Apparently, with Matthews going there, he's going to get like a full body treatment or something with this doctor. So it's not just whatever's bothering him. Obviously, they're going to look at that, but it's a full body thing too. And apparently he's going to come back at 100%. And it could be very soon. And surgery was never in the conversation. It's still not in the conversation. So I seen a lot of that on Twitter as well. And just in the entire reaction to this, I feel like that's a bit ridiculous. And they also came out and said, Berube specifically, that it's not his wrist. So I don't believe it's that. And I don't think, you would fly to Germany to see a specialist for your wrist, even though he's had surgery before in North America for that. So it must be something else. I also don't think that it's concussion related because if it was still up in the air like this, they wouldn't be giving us a timeline of maybe, the Florida trip or anything like that. So it is a bit ridiculous and they aren't giving, the full details. But Auston Matthews, again, is a very private person. He doesn't like his injury details out there. But that is what we know at this moment. But it is a little bit concerning. I just don't think that the Leafs are lying in this situation. I feel like it's just they're using the schedule to their advantage and they've kept things hush hush.
Yeah, this is what Elliot Friedman said. There are a ton of questions. So here's a quick update again. According to several sources, he went to Germany this week to visit a clinic he knows and trusts. Same sources stressed not to get fixated on the destination, saying that it was just because it isn't local, it shouldn't cause panic. It was also stressed that surgery for Matthews' undisclosed injury is not being considered and was never part of the process. Overall body work. So again, it's probably just not even precautionary, just getting some work done, taking advantage of the light schedule that they have to get his body right. At the same time, I understand why fans would be nervous. I mean, they give minimal info, and I'm sure it's at Auston Matthews' request nonetheless, not Brad Living's, but they give minimal info, and they have given minimal info. We know in the past the Leafs are classic for day to day, turning to week to week, turning to month, and that's ultimately what's happened here. Not month to month yet, but I mean, maybe it could be. At the end of the day, like, he was supposed to return a while ago, so I can see the concern with fans. And again, now coming out saying he's going to Germany, clearly something is up. But again, maybe it was just a spot opening up. And again, surgery, which would be the thing that would keep him out for a longer period of time, it is not going to be considered. It was never a part of the plan. The European trip was simply an opportunity for him to receive overall body work in addition to treatment for whatever is bothering him. This should not be seen as a critique of the Maple Leafs medical staff, as players often seek second opinions. In fact, one of Toronto's team doctors traveled with Matthews. So I'm not really blaming any of this on the Toronto Maple Leafs front office or anything like that. I think it's all Matthews' choice. He wants to remain private, and he also wants to go see this doctor. That being said, the injury, we still don't even know what it is, so it's kind of hard to comment on it, but it's definitely gotten worse than it was. And the biggest thing is the sensitivity around the situation. You can see this here. There's a lot of sensitivity around the situation. Matthews, like most players, very private about his injury, and the organization wants to respect his wishes. However, giving a status as one of their top players, fans and media are eager for updates. For now, the Maple Leafs stance remains in line with head coach Craig Berube's statement. With a stretch of 3 games in 13 days, it's better for Matthews to rest and focus on long-term recovery, which makes all of this make sense. I think 2 things can be right. Fans can be stressed and worried and annoyed because of the lack of info we're getting, and the Leafs are doing right by Auston Matthews by not giving any more info. And I mean, quite frankly, we got a good bit of info today from Elliot Friedman anyways.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Even Bradshaw Living came out and was pretty transparent on what's going on, right? And I think it's exactly that. I think that they only play once this week and he's still not back. He's not 100%. And I think that, they've been taking it probably day by day. He was day to day. And yes, it's stretched over 3 weeks, but he clearly wasn't good enough to go. They don't want to force him back. They want him to be 100%. And he probably wanted a second opinion from a doctor that he knows and trusts. And he wants to go get, a full body work done, some other things done. So, I don't think that they have any reason to lie. Like, I don't think there's any incentive for the Leafs to come out and say, surgery will not happen, and then a surgery happens and he misses a significant chunk of the season. That would be ridiculous. They've also, like I mentioned, came out and said that it's not his wrist. For them to come out and say it's not a specific part of his body and not to be worried about that, and then it is, I think that, why would the Toronto Maple Leafs ever do that? So it's clearly something else that's bothering him. He sounds like he's very close to returning, but they don't want to force him back, especially with a very busy December coming up. Their longest break is 2 days in between games, not including Christmas. So they have a very busy month. So why would you rush him back when he's not feeling 100%, when you have a busy month coming up and you're playing fine without him, right? So he will be back soon, it sounds like, but he just wants to get to 100%. And I don't think it's a knock on the Leafs doctors or anything. I think, like Friedman said, it's the type of opportunity there with that doctor in Germany that when an opening opens up, especially during the season like this, that you can go see him, you take it. So I'm not entirely worried, Nick. I have to be honest. I think he will be back. I don't think there's any incentive for the Leafs to come out and say what they've said and be lying. I think that would be ridiculous. So I am not worried. I think he'll be back soon, and I think the Leafs will be better for it.
Yeah, the only other flip side to this coin would be maybe he goes to Germany, sees a specialist, and they say something that we don't want to hear, and then it ultimately leads to a change of plans. That would be the only concerning thing. But I think as of now, yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think the concern level, I mean, I'm a little bit more concerned than you just because of the fact that it's even gotten to this point of something that was a day-to-day injury that wasn't going to be a big deal at all. But I think they're using it. And we saw it with David Kemp, him being out as well. I'm sure a return for him, according to, some sources as well. Like, a lot of these injuries that are happening, obviously Matthews is worse, are a big factor of, hey, let's let these guys and be overcautious because of the fact that they got a very, I'm going to say it, weird schedule in November to where they're off for like what feels like weeks at a time, but it's really multiple days at a time. Again, the only game this week is Wednesday, which is interesting. They played a bunch earlier on in the season, and whether maybe that's led to some of the injuries of Max Pacioretty, Auston Matthews, David Kemp, all these guys now. It's going to be interesting. And again, hopefully Auston Matthews can bounce back because I want to see what he can do out there. He's coming off of a pretty rough start to his season for his standards. He's still a point per game player, basically, but it's Auston Matthews we're talking about here, and I think he can be better than that. And hopefully he comes back and is 100%. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of news coming out around Auston Matthews, around everything, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.